Well, from Mpumalanga to Limpopo and to this disturbing story now, a 28-year-old man has been arrested on a charge of statutory rape. His arrest was a response to an incident involving a 13-year-old girl who gave birth at the Seshego Hospital on Christmas Day. Soon after the alarming event sparked public concern, Limpopo Premier Dr. Phophi Ramathuba praised police for their prompt response. For more on this, let's now cross to our reporter, Katlego Nyoni, who is standing by with Limpopo Provincial Police Commissioner. Katlego, of course, this is a disturbing story. The 13-year-old girl being one of around 90 teenage moms who gave birth on Christmas Day. Again, putting that highlight on just how prevalent teenage pregnancy is in this country.
Certainly, Unati, quite a scourge. The birth of newborns, particularly on a day as special as Christmas Day, is meant to be a joyous occasion. However, in our country, that occasion is marred by the scourge that is teenage pregnancy. Well, like you say, disturbing news of a 13-year-old giving birth, being one of the 31 teenage mothers in Limpopo alone who gave birth on Christmas Day. We know that immediately following that discovery, a 28-year-old suspect was arrested. Limpopo Premier Phophi Ramathuba there welcoming the arrest and also thanking the South African Police Service for pouncing on this suspect. However, Unati, there were 31 and as you in Limpopo, and as you pointed in the intro, 90 overall in other parts of the country as well, painting a grim picture about this particular scourge that is teenage pregnancy. What will happen to those other men that are impregnated these teenage young girls? Let me bring in the Limpopo Provincial Police Commissioner, Thembi Hadebe, to tell us more about this arrest. Thank you very much for your time today. Grim and rather shocking news of a 13-year-old who gave birth as one of the teenage mothers on Christmas Day in Limpopo, one of 31. What sort of what additional information can you tell us about this case and this arrest?
Katlego, thank you very much, and blessed festive season to you and your listeners. I must say, it came by surprise that a teenage girl of 13 years was hospitalized due to pregnancy. As a result, she then gave birth on Christmas Day. The matter was then brought under our attention. Our FCS, who is working tirelessly in the province, ran with the case immediately. And yesterday we managed to arrest the suspect, who also opened the case, assisted the victim to have the case opened and registered. And we are sure that this suspect will face the law at the end of the day. I must indicate that it transpired that the mother to the victim was not aware of the pregnancy. According to the interview, she only became aware 3 weeks ago. And unfortunately, it was the time this girl had to be put to bed. We also find out the mother is working in farms. You can see that these are children who become vulnerable in the hands of people who take advantage to them. When we interviewed this girl, he indicated to us that the person who impregnated is working somewhere in one a local restaurant within Pulukwane, and that's when our FCS went there and impounded this man. I want to send a message to women who leave children. Yes, though we understand they leave them to go and look for better opportunities to feed their families, but at the same time they should not lose sight to keep tabs of their young girls, particularly the young girls in the province of Limpopo are severely affected by this scourge. We are picking this trend again that on Christmas and New Year's Eve you find young teenage girls who are pregnant, and when you follow up, these girls are pregnant by elders who are over age. And definitely we want to put a stop into that. This case is setting an example, and I must promise all those that runs for young girls and taking advantage of them that we will not rest until we find them and arrest them, because I don't think to a 13-year-old girl you can find a woman there at the age of 28 years. A 28-year-old must go to his own peers and look for a relationship, not to a young girl who does not even have a choice to say say yes or no. So I'm sending a message to every perpetrator or every person who contemplate or anyone who's actually saying Yana is involved with a young girl that is a crime in South Africa.
And Commissioner, that's a very strong message, and like you say, you mostly discover these cases on Christmas Day. However, new mothers give birth almost on a daily basis. In fact, you can safely say on a daily basis. In South Africa, there are other 30 cases that we discovered yesterday, on Christmas Day rather. Are you going to be looking into some of these cases? Will you be interviewing in a similar way that you did the 13-year-old?
I have directed all our FCS to work together with the Department of Health in terms of establishing that, because you will find some parents, they conceal these things, and at least the Department of Health is able to notify us when such girls are put to bed, and then we are able to follow this case. And even in these instances, we have been stopped. We are running with these cases. We will open a number of cases as and of when it comes to our attention.
Thank you very much. Just before I let you go, as part of your festive safety campaign, you've also managed to arrest an alleged Facebook rapist. Tell us about that briefly.
I must say the violence inflicted to our women in the province of Limpopo is giving us a run this particular time. It's one thing that is worrying us, but we pride ourselves by our FCS that are committed, that are on the ground. Just to cut the matters short, we also arrested a suspect who committed a rape on the 24th and saved this victim, who was able to explain to us that she has inflicted a wound on the private parts of this particular suspect. And that led us to follow from hospital to hospital up until we located this man in one of the hospitals. And indeed, he was severely injured on his private parts.
Luring her on Facebook?
Yeah, his modus operandi is that he led these young women between 14 and 16. These are young girls and minors for that matter. He led them in the name of he loves them. You see, this love scam is always there. People taking advantage of the vulnerable group. And he is not only going to be charged with this, he has got 3 other cases. And there's also one case that we are still locating the victim who did not come forth and open a case, because in his position we find a cell phone that belongs to that victim. And we have evidence that that victim is also one of his victims of the sexual abuse.
Thank you very much. Unati, that's the Limpopo Provincial Commissioner there, echoing a very strong message against would-be perpetrators, that they will be looking and investigating other cases where teenage mothers were impregnated by those that are of legal age, saying that it is a concern, it is a scourge in South Africa. Also speaking there about a man that was recently arrested who allegedly was luring young girls, 14 and 16 years old, via social media. The PC there further mentioning that they interviewed the mother of this 13-year-old that gave birth in one of the hospitals in Seshego in Limpopo on Christmas Day, saying that the suspect will face the full might of the law. Unati?
Katlego, thank you so much for that. Katlego Nyoni in Limpopo for us, of course, bringing up 2 very important cases here. One, of course, of the 28-year-old man who has been arrested after a 13-year-old girl gave birth on Christmas Day. The other, of course, is the social media rapist, or serial rapist, as he is currently being called, luring girls via social media. I mean, we know the story all too well. It does ring of the Thabo Bester case, luring girls via Facebook between the ages of 13, 14 to 16 years old. But on that first case of the 13-year-old girl who fell pregnant and actually gave birth on Christmas Day, we will be speaking to Dr. Phophi Ramathuba, who's also the Premier in Limpopo, of course. She spearheaded that this man be arrested, this 28-year-old man. Of course, we'll continue then to bring you more information on that. We will be speaking to the Premier at 11 o'clock this morning and get her sense in terms of how prevalent these cases are in Limpopo and what law enforcement authorities are doing about it.